Because he's been vaccinated. That's why. Because when you get injected with this, at first of all they said 1 dose, maybe two, right? That's what they said, right?
Maybe 3.
And then we'll stop you getting ill. Then it turned out to stop you again. Then it's how it stop you from dying. Then they found out it doesn't stop you from dying. So they said, well, maybe it stopped you from dying.
Stop you getting
Then they said, oh, it stopped you from spreading. Then they said it doesn't stop you from spreading. But they still allowed you, for example, if you're vaccinated, you can go to America. If you're like me, and you're not vaccinated, you can't go to America. So they still maintain the illusion that there's some benefit from getting the vaccine. But what we know is this, all of you know this, when you get vaccinated, after 2 months you've got to get another one. And then they said, well, that's not strong enough, you've got to get another one. And now they're saying every half a year you've got to go in, come for your vaccination, ladies and gentlemen. Urgently, come for your vaccination. So off you go, travel off to the next vaccination. Now, what is that actually, other than saying this illusion that there's this agent out there waiting to grab you, it's so dangerous that's going to grab everyone. And if you're vaccinated, you've got a little protection for a little period of time. What about if you look at it the other way around? The logical way round. The logical way round is you get a vaccination and your ability to fight off an invading enemy is weakened. And then, in order to stop that invading enemy, you put another wall up. You jab them again. And you weaken the natural immunity of man again. And then you get another jab. And you weaken them again. And they had this advert in Hammersmith and Fulham. It said, get your booster. The jab is like a battery. It runs down. That's why you need to boost it up again. It runs down, boost it up again. What they mean is your immune system is being directly compromised by the injection program from the government, both for the COVID and for flu, by the way. And now they want to multiply this, the same technology they used, which has been compromising the immune system of huge swathes of humanity. And the best protected, by the way, are those who are naturally infected, for example, in Africa, where Bill Gates said, and Bill Gates he said, unfortunately, these were his words, unfortunately, the majority of people in Africa were vaccinated by the real virus. Did you see excess deaths in Africa, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria, in Gambia,
So a lot of people died
in North Korea? Hardly anybody took the vaccines in Africa. So why did they stay alive? Why didn't they all die like flies? Weren't they supposed to be the ones who died like flies? The Africans, weren't they? After all, poor healthcare system. No ventilators, you know. You've got to have a ventilator after all. A machine that goes bing. When the supervisor comes in, bing. There it is. Ventilate quick. Stick it out of the throat. 50% of those who are ventilated die. Do they die? Because when you stick that story of excess deaths is care homes, hospitals. Care homes, hospitals. Community living facilities for the old elderly people where people are not properly looked after. That's where they died. And that's a simple fact. You can check it all around the world. That's where the people died. Otherwise, some people died of fear, you know. If you've got an 85-year-old person with dementia and she's visited by her son 3 times a week, and then suddenly the hospital says, because of this wild virus coming around, we cannot let you visit your mother. And you're going to be locked up for 2 years behind glass, and we're going to protect you, but we're only going to come and talk to you with a mask on and a visor. And that's how your future life will be until we cure the world of COVID. That was the story they said, right? Now, if that's not a guaranteed pathway to death,
it's a psychological
that
death.
Of course it is. Health is not just your physical state, a doctor examining every organ in your body and concluding you've got an illness. Health is the psychological state of a human being. The nutrition and the psychological state, which means community, collectivity, and life, real life. What isn't Karl Marx once said, and I'll finish on this. Karl Marx once said, what is an illness except the body that is hampered in its freedom? What is an illness except the body hampered in its freedom? And that's what they did. By locking us down, they tried to reset the mind of humanity, reset the economy of humanity, reset the structure of society, all for the worse for us. Every minute, 1 million people, let me get this right, every minute, one of the last 2 years, 1 million people were pushed into poverty. No, not every minute, sorry.
No.
So I've got the figure wrong, but never mind. Next week I'll come back with it. I've forgotten what it was. I've forgotten what it was. But the point being, billionaires were growing at the same time as pauperization is growing, in exact direct proportion to each other. That's what they've been enforcing on mankind. And they've been using these smoke screens. Vaccination, COVID, healthcare, we'll look after you, we're protecting the Ukrainians. All bullshit. The system is designed to enrich the few at the expense of the many, and designed to serve their interests and to regard humanity all around the world, no matter your race, your religion, your sex, all of humanity, apart from the tiny elite at the top, are being attacked in a war by the rulers against the people. And we must rise up against that and smash their power.
Great stuff. Near perfect. Yeah. Shall I say a few words? Yeah.
Go ahead.